wasn't yours. I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back to who I was before. I like me better, I like me better.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. You know it's bad when my name starts getting tagged in your comments on social media. I'm starting to have to do videos like this a little too often, alright? We might need to be worried. So, I am back with another one of these videos. If you guys have not heard, social media was buzzing yesterday. I saw that article on pretty much every platform that there is. Revlon has filed for bankruptcy, and it's a shock. It's a shock for a couple reasons, but there's pretty much going to be, is this the downfall of Revlon? If you guys want to know more, let's go. So yesterday, I started seeing myself getting tagged on social media. I looked at what people were tagging me in, and they were pretty much announcements that Revlon, which it's a legacy brand, I believe it's like 90, the brand is older than most of the people watching this video, okay? It was announcing that they have filed for bankruptcy. Now, there are different levels of bankruptcy. They filed Chapter 11, I think it's like 7 or 13, it's 7 or 13, 7 or 8, that you don't want to. But basically, they're, because, you know, like, you got to keep that in mind when you're thinking, is this the downfall, is it the end, and whatnot. Basically, Chapter 11 is just going to give them a chance to regroup, reorganize, while receiving, you know, money to do that. To be more specific, this chapter of the bankruptcy code generally provides for reorganization, usually involving a corporation or a partnership. A Chapter 11 debtor usually proposes a plan of reorganization to keep its business alive and pay creditors over time. Revlon specifically said, upon court approval, it expects to receive $575 million in financing from its existing lenders, which will allow it to keep its day-to-day operations running. They said one more thing about how, like, it was causing them to be unable to keep up with their consumers' demands. Yeah, but basically that is what this Chapter 11 bankruptcy is going to provide Revlon. As you heard me say, they are going to reorganize so that they can do both at the same time, continue selling makeup while also paying off the debt that they have. And y'all know, like, once you're in these situations, you're usually in a amount of debt that you cannot keep up with. Now, I was reading what people were saying was the cause of them going into this debt, and a majority of the cause is being put on the pandemic. I believe it says in 2020, their sales were down 21% in 2020. They rebounded 9.2% in the company's most recent reporting year with vaccines widespread. So yeah, I feel like a majority of the blame is being put on, oh, well, the pandemic, and Revlon is big, or Revlon is mostly known for their lipsticks, and you had to wear a mask, so you couldn't wear lipstick, so there wasn't really a need for that from consumers. But I like when some people keep it a buck, right? Because I like that we're gonna see that a lot with a lot of the brands this is happening to. A lot of that fault is gonna be put on the pandemic. Well, and it's you know, a valid reason. The pandemic, it threw a wrench into the mix a lot, right? But some brands, you know, I like the journalists that are being honest, that some of you were looking a little before the pandemic even started, right? I saw one quote that Revlon failed to keep pace with changing tastes, slow to follow women as they traded flashy red lipstick for more muted tones in the 1990s. Yes. Somebody say it, okay? Somebody say it. Yeah, the pandemic hurt y'all a lot, but y'all were slipping before that, okay? Y'all were losing interest before that, and that's really hard for a brand like Revlon to do, because a brand like Revlon, it's a legacy brand, it's a drugstore brand, and their audience is very different. Their audience is very different compared to, you know, like a Melts or a social media type brand, because the online beauty space, although it does change just like all trends change, I feel like the online beauty community has very different expectations to, you know, the drugstore or counter makeup wearers as far as expectations. Like, you'll see online when they announce that something's coming out, they'd be like, oh my God, that's so boring, that's so this, that's not inclusive, which valid criticisms, right? But, you know, the people who are not involved in the online makeup space like that, they really do not care about a lot of that. And brands know that. The counter brands, the drugstore brands, that you're just walking down the aisle and you're probably going to see this and like maybe it'll catch your eye. Those brands know that the people who are shopping that way do not care about a lot of that, which is why even on social media, you'll see there's pushback to people who are calling that stuff out, right? You'll see there are people who are like, well, I like a natural eyeshadow palette, okay? I only go to this place and that place, so I don't need blue or green eyeshadow. And you'll also see people who are saying, well, what do you expect from brands? Do you really think brands are going to give you 50 shades of foundation, concealer, and powder? And it's very different audiences. So for that audience who really don't be caring about a lot of the stuff that you see people caring about on social media, also keep in mind people say, like, social media is not real, right? Like, you see people say that on Twitter all the time, like, Twitter is not real. You know, the conversation that you guys have on Twitter, no one cares about in real life, like that type of thing. So for even those people who just be walking down the aisle in Walgreens and they might see the same chalky eyeshadow palette and they're going to love it, to be falling off of your brand, that means like brands have really stopped trying. And I feel like we know brands have really stopped trying. We see it. They're not even trying to pretend to try anymore. They've just stopped trying that much. So that is why it's interesting that this has happened to a legacy brand, because it's proving even legacy isn't going to save you right now, right? Like I've said that before, the legacy brands, your grandma, your mom, the children you have in the future will probably end up using these brands. They have less to worry about as opposed to, you know, a indie brand or a new brand, because, you know, I don't remember the percentage, but they say a lot of new brands in general, doesn't really matter what industry you're in, don't last. So when you've got longevity, you know, you've got something to hold on to, right? But this is showing even those brands are not safe. So what happens now? So where do brands go from there, right? Because when you look at Revlon, like the article said, you know, Revlon, it is known for its lipsticks, and, you know, masks happened, so that kind of hurt them there. But like after lipstick, like what else is Revlon known for? I feel like Revlon is kind of known for its nail polish, right? I feel like it's kind of known for that. If you were back in the beauty space, like OG days, that Revlon Color Stay foundation, that was like a staple product. I feel like that's a thing. Even drugstore brands right now, where are the staple products? Where are the holy grail type products? I don't even remember the last like drugstore brand where I've heard someone say they've got a new launch coming out and everyone's like, yes, yes, yes. Like I can name back in the day that Revlon Color Stay, the L'Oreal True Match, the little, y'all know just the name of it. It comes into your mind. L'Oreal had that foundation. Of course, I can't remember the name right now, but I feel like they drew out every version they could of that. Maybelline Fit Me. Like, where are those type products now? Because, you know, for some brands, yes, that can hold you over. Clearly, for some brands, it cannot. So where is the effort to put those type products out now, especially since there's always a new crowd of people who are allowed to wear makeup now. There's always a new crowd of people who are getting into makeup. I have seen a lot of people say after the pandemic that, you know, they want to get into makeup now. So for those new people now, where are the Color Stays and the Fit Me's from the drugstore brand that are going to be their holy grail products for them now? I don't see them. The brands aren't giving that. And that's what that article was talking about. Like, they're not keeping up with the times, not keeping up with what people say, because they feel like that is going to hold them over. So in that sense, yeah, I can see that, where Revlon kind of fell off there. Revlon's also a brand that relies heavily on celebrity partnerships to get them through. They were the first brand to feature a black model, 1970. And you guys know most recently, like Megan Thee Stallion has really been, I feel like that's really been the only times recently that I've heard people talk about Revlon when talking about their partnership with Megan Thee Stallion. You know, she features them a lot. She's done a lot of get this, you know, hottie bag and that type of, but that can't be the only thing that drives you. Again, you see, when not keeping up with the times and stuff like that, because listen to what I just said. Your brand, the first black model, you've got one of the hottest celebrities out right now as your current main brand ambassador, but there's a disconnect there because a lot of the products you guys put out look ashy on like the main demographic that current ambassador brings to the table. Like that's a criticism that they get a lot, especially with the eyeshadows. Like I've even seen people say that about the eyeshadow on Meg. Like the products on her, and again, that is who her main demographic is. That's that disconnect there where it's like, it gives very like half-ass, you know, like very, well, we're Revlon and you know, and you're a celebrity. So it's like, that's good enough. You know, like they'll push through with our products. No. If we're going to bounce back from this, if you're going to continue giving consumers the staple products that they need, I need effort in this moving forward for Revlon if we are going to get ourselves out of this, because it's like, it's not like the possibilities aren't there. That's what's annoying. When a brand shows you that they have the possibility of doing it, it's like you're just choosing not to, right? Again, because relying on the fact that you're Revlon and relying on the products that you already have is easier. It's more comfortable. I mean, obviously, well, I would say obviously, as far as money goes, but that's what you were doing and you're in money trouble. So I'm not sure if that's also like the best money decision. There was also that discrimination scandal that they had where the CEO pretty much offended every group that you possibly can out there. So again, when you it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back with these makeup brands. But moving forward, what does Revlon need to do? Like I said, I think this is a time, you don't want to say like, you know, having to file bankruptcy or these brands having to announce that they need someone to buy them or they're going to have to shut down, stuff like that. Or, because the whole no publicity is bad publicity thing, that's not true. But in these type of moments, you do now have more eyes on you. And weirdly enough, at times like this, when people think, oh, and I see it all the time in my comments when I do these type of videos on a brand announcing something like this, oddly enough, when people think there's a chance that they might not get to buy something anymore that they were buying before, even if they haven't used it in a good minute, they need to go get it, right? So now that you've got like these eyes on you because this announcement came out, you can use that to your advantage. And now could be the time for you to give people something new, right? Yeah, you can still rely on the staples that you have, but like I was saying, give people their new version of Color Stay, being their new staple holy grail product that 10 years from now they're going to need. Because even the brands that do have, you know, the double wears, the tint dolls, like they still give people new products after that they can love just as much as those, right? They still promote those. They're still going to be, you know, drawing factors for them, but they're still giving people something. My question is like, what have you been giving people? And now that you have this chance, this time of people looking at you, and because of the situation that you're in, people are going to want to see how you move forward and how you bring yourself out of it. Now is the time to give them something. They're like, okay, yeah, okay, I see. You're gonna get that 575 million to get you out of this, and I see that you use that money, you reorganize how you're supposed to, and you're going to be better moving forward, right? I'm not going to start with the products that you're putting out right now, because Revlon, you know, as far as like imagery and branding, that's not going to be that hard for them, but it's the products that y'all are putting out. Like, y'all have to do something to get people actually talking about you again. And that's not just them as a drugstore, because I was just having a conversation the other day, like, where's CoverGirl? Like, but I saw that they had like reconnected with Queen Latifah. I don't know if they're gonna be working on something to, you know, do like another CoverGirl Queen type thing. That could help you, okay? That's one of those, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, what? But this is not about CoverGirl. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, this would be the time for you to do that if you are going to pull yourself out of this. Like I always say, hop on TikTok. One, because it's the brand, it's the app right now that everyone's talking about, everyone's on. It's got that again, you know, no shade, newer crowd, you know, that probably don't know about other issues that you've had, probably don't know about that defamation scandal I was talking about, not defamation, discrimination scandal I was talking about. You know, a new audience, crack into that audience too, because again, with older brands, legacy brands, it's like, okay, we have like our core consumers who anytime we drop something they're going to want. You can't always rely on that. Some brands can, some cannot. Y'all need to realize that. Like, if, again, like I said, if this is not like a wake-up call that maybe we can't just rely on the name, then I don't know what's gonna be a wake-up call for some of y'all, because I really didn't see that coming. Like, you told me Revlon was gonna be the next brand I'd be doing this type of video on, I would not have seen that coming. Also, Megan Thee Stallion is your current ambassador. Like, I need an actual like collection thought out, not like her favorites from Revlon or her, no. I need a full hottie, you know, the summertime would have been like the perfect time to launch that. I need a full Megan Thee Stallion hottie type collection. I want her plastered everywhere. I want it plastered everywhere. I want the PR boxes in influencers' hands, the whole collection. Let her do complexion, eyeshadow, maybe not complexion, but eyeshadow, blush, lip products. You have an ambassador that is literally one of the most popping celebrities out right now, who is actually heavily involved in makeup. Like, it's not just a celebrity that you here, hold this eyeshadow palette, do a little, you know, use the little makeup pads that come in the thing, do this, and then you get your check. No, like, she actually does her own makeup for photo shoots, for red carpets, for music videos and stuff like that. They be having the formula. Y'all just be half-assing it, and that's what pisses me off. But anyway, yeah, that's what y'all gonna have to do to get yourselves out of this. Way too many brands have just become way too content with like being where they are right now. And if that, you know, gets you by, you can pay all your debt, you can continue giving consumers what they want from you, great. But as we're seeing, a lot of you cannot. So it's like, at what point do we realize that we have to do something different, something bigger, something more bold to get us out of this? At what point? But you know, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this, what you think about Revlon, the brand in general. Are they still doing it for you? Do they ever do it for you? What could they do for you? For them to be a drugstore brand that you're like, you know what? I actually see something that I want to check out. Because I'm really thinking about it. I think it was either Maybelline or L'Oreal launched a bronzer or something like that. I saw it a couple weeks ago and I was like, oh, I kind of want to try that. But literally that's been like the only thing from the drugstore in a good minute that I've even wanted to check out. Like Wet n Wild, where are you? I wouldn't be surprised if you were next. Wet n Wild, I feel like NYX, you know, yeah, NYX. In the last few years, I've still had moments where I'm like, you know, there's that marshmallow thing, and then they had glosses that I saw at Target the other day, and I want to check it out. But like, they still have things I want to. I won't put NYX in that. I wouldn't put Elf in that category. But like the other ones, especially like, you know, like been around type thing. What y'all doing? But anyway, that is it for this video. Like I said, let me know your thoughts down below. As you can see, your girl is getting tired. All right, she's getting tired because it feels like I be saying the same thing in all these videos, and it's like all these brands just refuse to not do the simple options that are right there for them. Make sure to thumbs up, comment, subscribe, notification bells down below. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, yeah.